Leading off is going down right now. I am the Welsh, Chris Welsh on Twitter at Is It The Welsh. And folks, it's a Wonky Wednesday. That's right. Kelly Kirby's in the house on Twitter at The Wonky Penguin. Kelly, what is going on? I am excited for the special wonky home run call of the day because it's quite a doozy you got going on.
I know. This one seems really interesting to me, but I'll just give you a hint that I thought Arizona was in last place, so I got a lot more excited. That I just always forget about Colorado. So,
well, if
yeah.
they're going to play Philly, they're not going to be in last place in any division.
That is true.
Continue to get to do that. We are going to talk about a said prospect on the Diamondbacks. We're going to talk about another top prospect. We're going to talk about the fears we have of the injuries of losing a top player, but it's looking like it's not going to quite be. And we're going to go through the home run contest on a Wonky Wednesday, probably the best day of the week, I would say, when we get the Wonky Wednesday and we get special calls. Kelly, I think you'd agree, right?
Oh, absolutely. Wonky Wednesd's the best.
I like this. Wonky on the Welsh. Wonky on the Welsh. Has a good ring to it. That's pretty good.
It does.
Yeah. And I would also point out, just like Bob said, he hit the thumbs up on the way in. Did you? Make sure you guys like the videos on the live streams and make sure that you guys subscribe so you get notified anytime we go live, because you never know. I don't know what the plans are, but what if there's stuff in the off season? What if there's dynasty content? What if you just forget where you are all of a sudden and then it's March and the show comes back and you're not notified? Just make sure you're notified. Subscribe to the YouTube channel for Leading Off on the Fantasy Pros MLB channel, and you'll be all set. And then you have absolutely no worries in the world. And that's all that we're asking for. The fear that we had that was clankering around for every fantasy baseball owner, just fantasy baseball or baseball fan, was Shane McClanahan being scratched from his start last night, stating that he couldn't get his left arm to, quote, get loose. One of the scariest parts of this is they had just a whole bunch of cameras. I was watching MLB tonight, I think, while it was going on, and they cut to it, and they showed him throwing, and then they showed him talking to one of the pitching coaches. And like, as like a dad, it was like a dad moment where he just kind of topples over into the pitching coach's arms and kind of tears up. And you see that and you go, oh no. We all were like, no, we can't, do not Tommy John and take this away from us. But Kelly, we got some good news, as McClanahan after the game said that we don't think it's anything major, hopefully, and I think we're going to be all right. So possible crisis averted.
Possibly. But I do remember going through this with Tyler Glasnow a little bit as well, where it's like, it's no big deal. It's fine. And then off we went. So what is it about Tampa? What is it about Tampa where they have just amazing pitchers and then they have issues? So like, it's kind of a very weird Shane Baz. I mean, it's like, here we are.
It obviously is built into something, getting like, you'd almost like to have like a sheet down of like the intricacies of how teams work. Like the Diamondbacks, they've changed this now, but the Diamondbacks had a pretty well-known, like they didn't want cutters thrown. I think it was cutters and I think it was just in lieu of sliders, and they weren't letting their pitchers do that. And you kind of get like similar things in development. And there's a certain point, almost like something you could look at, again, I'm making about the Diamondbacks because I know them very well, where it's like, why are these prospects always having these shoulder issues? Is there something to the players or how the regimen is going? Same thing with Tampa Bay, because it's a really good point. What's with the arm issues? I mean, remember Brent Honeywell? Brent Honeywell is out there. Shane Baz is dealing with it. McClanahan, is it something in how they are teaching or maybe not teaching these guys to do? I don't know what it is, but I am just like crossing my fingers because I think McClanahan is, if not at the top of the dynasty #1 overall pitchers. And I think for next year, if we're looking at early ranks, he's got to be at least in the top 3. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah, Brendan McKay. That's another one. Good one. Go Cards.
Yeah, I mean, I would say for me in Dynasty, he was #1. Mr. Buster and I have been talking about that it's like, this is the guy you want. And he would be the ultimate, this is why we can't have nice things example if he actually goes down. Because, I mean, he's just been beautiful. I arrange my schedule to watch him pitch just because he's great. So,
and it's one of those things with bets too. It's just like, get out there. I completely agree. and how many pitchers are there out there that are like that right now? For me, I think it is Alcantara, it's McClanahan, and DeGrom. Those are the only 3 that are like appointment. I don't want to take anything away from Verlander or Corbin Burns or anything like that. But if, me personally, when it's appointment time, it's those 3, and it's only those 3 in baseball. And that says something.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I might throw Shohei in there occasionally. He's not must-see for me, but yeah, I tuned in. I mean, I tune into DeGrom starts, even being a DeGrump. I'm like, I have got that. I mean, I've showed him to like friends who happen to be over. I'm like, just a second, you have to watch this, like the best pitcher. And he's like, and everybody's like, can we not talk about that? But
I was about to tell you, Kelly, I want to hear something nice about DeGrom because I didn't think, I thought you were going to move past it. So I appreciate that. You did very
well. Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's amazing to watch. 100%.
When he's out there, right? When he's
I just don't want him in fantasy. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I still want him, but yeah, that's the thing. Orioles have selected the contract of top prospect, arguably in the conversation. If you go over to like the more traditionalist of prospect evaluators, Francisco Alvarez might be there because he's a catcher. Some outlets have Gunnar Henderson and some have Corbin Carroll. So he's in that argument. Gunnar Henderson has been called up by the Orioles one day before he would not be eligible to make the playoffs. So rosters are going to expand to 28 tomorrow, and he is getting the call up, and he will now be eligible. The 21-year-old hitting almost 300 in the minors, 19 homers, 22 stolen bases between AA and AAA. He was playing a little bit of second base, could play shortstop. I think a lot of evaluators have kind of assumed he was going to be a future third baseman as well. There's just a lot of flexibility that's given. And we've kind of completed the I don't know if it's a triad because who is so maybe it's just the duo of Corbin Carroll and Gunnar Henderson. Francisco Alvarez, I think, completes the triad of guys, but he's hurt and may miss the rest of the season. So we are going to get Gunnar Henderson for the rest of this year. And I don't know about you, Kelly, I hope it takes the same trajectory as Corbin Carroll in that the team says, we don't have him here just to have fun. He is here to play every single day. That's the hope we're going to see with Gunnar Henderson.
I would hope so. I mean, I think he is ready. And they could use the help. I mean, again, every time I look at the standings and they're 3 games out of the wild card, and I'm just like, how are they still hanging around? And maybe he could be just the infusion of energy and, again, that positional flexibility, because I saw the second base and a lot of third base. And if he retains all of that for next year, then he's, that's going to be an important part as well.
It'll be like the legend of Gunnar Henderson. If he can come in and he can bring any war to this team and bring any extra wins and get them to the playoffs, he's going to live in infamy. I mean, it is going to be a huge thing. So here's my question then. Who would you rather have rest of season, Gunnar Henderson or Corbin Carroll?
I'll take Carroll.
Corbin Carroll. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Should we talk positive about Corbin Carroll here? Because I've got some stuff here in just a tiny bit if you're ready.
Is there anything I could say that would deter you from that?
Nope, not a single.
Okay, cool.
You can't talk.
Then I think we should do that.
You can't talk about any of that stuff because that's a baller. And I got some stuff for you here in a little bit. But I would say, just like the Corbin Carroll stuff, go pick up Gunnar Henderson. There's no reason. Plenty of leagues. I know plenty of you are going to be like, well, imagine a league without Gunnar Henderson's available. Like, okay, well, then don't pick him up because he's not available. But if he is, go and pick him up because it's going to be a great asset for the final few months. He's got power. He's got a great swing, hitting around 300 across 2 levels. Also can be a source of stolen bases, which that team is almost becoming like the couple of years ago Royals, where it's just like every guy in that lineup has an opportunity to steal some bases, and Gunnar would be one of those guys. Also, no big deal, but Aaron Judge went 3 for 5, hit a 3-run bomb, his 51st of the year. I guess there's still one more day that's in there, but we were doing the whole like 50 homers before September type of thing, and he just moved up that list. And I did see, we're not going to do it, but just a lot of extended chatter online after the 51st homer between the whole like real homer thing, Roger Maris, and the award. It seems like there's gonna be a lot of controversy around this Judge thing, but maybe not the controversy that we're used to, in that, like, I think you will have the defenders of Shohei Ohtani, which I still think at this day is great as Judge is. Ohtani is MVP. You're going to have that. And then you're also going to have the real home run record if he passes Maris. And that argument is really going to actually be pretty intolerable in my eyes. I don't know about you, Kelly. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, my thing with the steroid era is it was an era. They didn't police it. I think they wanted it after the strike. And I am really firmly in it's been 20 years, let's get over it mindset on that. And that is the one thing about the Judge home run chase, because I would love for him to catch it, break the American League record, but I just don't want the think pieces that will come out of that all day, every day.
Well, you see John Heyman. John Heyman was like, once he passes Maris, this will be the record because of all those steroid. And it was just like, come on, man. Like, even Judge, even baseball players, I think we should like take some cues from actual baseball players. And how many baseball players have you ever heard disavow the steroid era as not counting, for the most part? Unless maybe they're like, retired and they're on a talk show or something like that. But guys in game, it's like, no, this is the guy. And Judge even acknowledged it. So, by the way, JP says drop Merrifield for Gunnar. Yep.
Yes.
Just like the Corbin.
All day, every day.
all day, every day. Some injuries. Ronald Acuna remained out for the third straight game Tuesday with lingering soreness in the right knee. I do not like that at all. Wilson Contreras left Tuesday's game with left ankle foot soreness. I believe it was running to first base, and he just kind of gave up, and we'll see where that goes. Jordan Alvarez remains out of the lineup due to lingering discomfort in both hands. We talked about that. There's nothing to do about that, but the wrist and hand stuff really has a worry for kind of zapped power moving forward. The best thing I think you could possibly do is if you have any viable bench options, I don't know, maybe even just, obviously, if he's not playing, you're going to put someone else in there. But I just don't know how impactful Jordan's going to be on the rest of this year, Kelly.
Yeah, I don't either. And I he's kind of in that dreaded, the DTD situation. And with Houston as far ahead as they are, they don't have to really do anything with him. So in Fantasyland, it's you can't drop him, because the second you drop him, someone will pick him up and he'll go on a tear. But yeah, he's going to take up a bench spot for a while. So yeah, I don't know.
It'd be nice if you can, get a Gunnar Henderson maybe and have that replacement.
Right.
Dylan Moore was placed on the 10-day IL with an oblique issue, and Cade Cavalli, after he just came up, was placed on the 15-day with right shoulder inflammation. That should end his season. That should be done. Maybe he'll be in the Arizona Fall League, but I cannot imagine we're going to see any more of him. So here are my fun facts. Last night, maybe you heard of this guy. Maybe I've talked about him before. Corbin Carroll. You've heard of him, right? We've mentioned him.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Just a little bit. Number one prospect in baseball for my team. Corbin Carroll hit a ball last night with an EV of just around 105, a 26-degree launch angle, with a projected distance of 439 feet. And according to, what a great account, Would It Dong, this would have been a home run in 29 of 30 MLB parks. Only Chase Field is the place that could have held this. And I think I might have even read that this was a record ball in the StatCast era of the furthest ball not becoming a home run. 439 feet not becoming a home run in 29 of 30 parks. Corbin Carroll's bomb would have been a home run, except, of course, in his home ballpark, Kelly.
Yeah, that's usually how that goes, right? I mean, that would have left Yankee Stadium and maybe hit Shea. But in Arizona, it's nothing. So I don't know.
Also, Corbin Carroll's 5 RBIs, this is according to Slang on Sports for Sarah Langs. Corbin Carroll's 5 RBIs in his first 2 games are the most by any Diamondback player in the first 2 career games. He's also registered, this is amazing, 5 separate 30-plus feet per second sprint speeds on the base paths, which is elite of elite. And I talked about this in a couple places. In that first at bat he had, where he kind of hit it into the ground and it popped up, I don't recall seeing someone as fast as him go to the line. He almost beat out another one of those and was within, we were talking that much of beating out another one of those. 5 instances of elite sprint speed he's already shown. He has shown a 440-foot bomb, and he's shown elite sprint speeds. There's some stuff to be excited about with Corbin Carroll, Kelly.
100%. The amount that he can, with the power and the speed combo, if he is anywhere, redraft league, whatever, pick him up. Yeah, he shouldn't be sitting anywhere.
And I think he already moved up the lineup. You got to forgive me. I think he moved to 6. He was 8 in his first game. He was to 6. And I think he's just going to continue moving up. He just gets on base. He makes things happen. There's power, speed. It's something to get excited about. Another thing that I thought was interesting was he was talking about his favorite players. He is a Washington native, and he was talking about his favorite player, which was Ichiro. He said Ichiro is his favorite player of all time. And in the broadcast of getting to know him, he said something that gave me a pause. And he said, he's like, "Oh, I like Ken Griffey Jr. too. He's a little before my time." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, we're there. we're at that point."
Oh, yeah.
And it comes to a good, interesting thing of this day in baseball. In 1990, the Ken Griffeys, Griffey Jr. was in center field, and Ken Sr. was in left field, becoming the first father and son combination in Major League history to play as teammates. And they each went 1 for 4 in Seattle's 5-2 win over the Royals. The Mariners had signed the elder Griffey after he was waived by the Reds. But Corbin Carroll doesn't know anything about that. He doesn't know anything about that one.
No, did you ever watch the old 1960s home run derby on ESPN, like the reruns in black and white?
Definitely when I was younger, and that was the only thing that would go. You would just leave it on ESPN, and you get the old football, dun, 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 and then you get the old baseball stuff. But I don't recall.
Okay, yeah. So I would do that. Watch Mantle and Maris, and I'm just thinking that for Carroll that was Griffey. So.
Oh, okay, yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go. Here's a trivia question for you, and I left it off the table. So Kelly can try to answer this. All this talk of Roger Maris and the home run record. Which team gave up the most home runs to Roger Maris when he hit 61 homers in 1961? And which one allowed the fewest? So the most and the fewest of any team in his 61 homer. Can you even possibly take a guess? I will give you the numbers, by the way. The most was 13 homers. The least was 3. So just think about that, by the way. In the production he put up, the least he hit against a team was 3, which is an incredible number, and the most was 13. Any guesses? It's kind of a tough one.
Yeah, I want to say, I mean, Boston just hopped into my head in terms of the least, but I don't know the
Incorrect. It's
most.
good. I will give you a little hint. It wasn't the least was in the division.
Okay.
These are incorrect.
I have no idea.
This is incorrect. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. So this is one of these is correct in Go Cards. Oh, wait, and if you're saying Red Sox, well, I just ruined it. The most was by the White Sox because you wrote Sox, but you probably meant Red Sox. The most was by the White Sox. The least, right there, by the Baltimore. Baltimore was the least with 13 homers with the Chicago White Sox. All this Roger Maris stuff is out there and ruminating in our brains. And there you go. Now you know who the most were. Now you know what should have been attached to that trivia question. Where's Judges? What does Judges look like at this point? Who are the most and who are the least against any team? I mean, least would probably look like 0 with interleague play and everything. But I'd like to know who the most is, and tell me if someone fun. Over on the Stat Heroes, Nick Prado, 2 homers, going 4 for 5 with 3 RBI and 3 runs. He needed a game like this. Gavin Sheets went 2 for 5 with 2 homers and 4 RBI, so a couple double dongs in that Kansas City White Sox game. Randy Rosarena, 3 for 5 with a homer and 2 stolen bases. Thank you very much. Sean Murphy had a homer, going 3 for 5 with 5 RBI. Boy, he has just been such a little whirlwind moving up as far as catchers go. He's one of the linchpins of my tout team in the 2-catcher league. Really, the only place that I considered rostering him was in 2-catcher, and it's panned out. But Sean Murphy's been so good, and probably has to push himself into the 12 conversation of catchers next year. I feel like there's good depth at catcher next year, even though the eliteness maybe is lacking.
Yeah, prior to the season, I made, wonky predictions that were just kind of outrageous. But one of my serious ones was Sean Murphy would end up as I think a top 10 catcher. There was nobody there, right? I mean, it's Oakland, so he was going to bat third and he was going to bat every day. And he seems to be panning out in that direction so far. So I really like that about him.
Yeah, you nailed that one. Jake McCarthy continues to be such a great pickup right now. We've been talking about this, a homer with 5 RBI. He hit 2-hole for the Diamondbacks last night. He's been on a little bit of a tear. Jose Siri, 3 for 4 with a homer, had 3 runs. Nick Gordon, homer with 6 RBIs. Hello, Nick Gordon. Ty France had a homer. Salvador Perez had a homer. It kills me, too. I almost picked Salvi yesterday. And I talked myself out of it for Shohei. And Aaron Judge, 3 for 5 with the 51st homer. On the pitcher front, Zach Gallen went 7, struck out 7. I put him in a little 2-player prop parlay with Shohei Ohtani and Gallen strikeouts. And Ohtani in the bottom of the 9th with 1 out ended up hitting a double, and he had a single already, and he got me that prop play, so that was big. Gallen looked awesome. Blake Snell struck out 8 in 6. Framber Valdez had 8 in 8. Kirby struck out 5 in 5, and Cal Quantrill struck out 4 and 6 innings. And I don't know how much you watched George Kirby. I know it's tough to buy into some of these like really, really young pitchers with not big track records. How much are you going to buy in on Kirby for next season? Because I just love the consistency that he continues to show out. He got out of some jams in that game. I was watching that because I almost bet on it. So I had one of those things where, I actually had it in the bet slip, but I let the time pass. So it got taken out of the bet slip. And I was like, dang it. And so then you just kind of want to watch in like misery. So I was watching a whole lot of it. And it's just so impressive, the command he continues to throw out there in the pitch mix. Are you going to be heavy on George Kirby next year?
I think so, because I don't think that his draft price is going to be it's not going to be as high as Gilbert. I think you'll be able to kind of sneak him out in the teens rounds, possibly. In which case, you can always use a control guy. And I have been impressed with him. I like him a lot, not just because of his last name, but in general.
Yeah. By the way, Red Baron gave us the Orioles the most by we need the number. What's the number? Well, I'm going to take a guess. I bet it's 8. What's your guess?
Against the Orioles, I'd say 11.
I like that. All right, that's our guess. Someone drop that in the chat. Over on the stat zeros, Luke Voigt 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts. Pete Alonso was 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, and Franchi Cordero 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Franchi and Jake McCarthy kind of battling for those like guys that you want to pick up. And there you go. There's the number. It was 9. So we were kind of like right in the middle,
Nice.
Just about. Over on the pitchers, Matt Manning got shelled. 2 1/3, 7 earned runs, gave up 7 hits, only walked 1 and struck out 1. Did not look good. Aaron Nola got shelled by the Diamondbacks. Went 4, gave up 8 earned runs and 10 hits. Eric Fetty gave up 9 hits and 6 earned runs. Couldn't get to the third. And Dakota Hudson, 4 2/3, 5 earned runs, whole bunch of hits, 9 in there. Kelly, we've got a wonky Wednesday home run edition. So why don't you play out and give us what the extra home run call is going to be for Wonky Wednesday?
Perfect. I'll do that in just a second. Greg Hanselman asked, what do we do with Aaron Nola? He's making a run for the championship. Do we just keep throwing him out there?
You keep going.
Yeah. I think he was.
Yeah, the Diamondbacks offense has been, they've just been a little bit on fire, but there's nothing that's going to change me on Aaron Nola. What are you?
Okay. No, I think you just keep going. So I just wanted to, since you brought him up, I wanted to mention it. So today, Wonky Wednesday, I'm calling it Andre Dawson Day. So in 1987, he hit, I believe, 49 home runs. I think he even won the MVP, and the Cubs finished in last place. It was a very proud day for me, but he was one of my favorites. I have his jersey, etc. So your bonus for today is to pick a player from a team that is currently last in its respective division, and then you can earn 2 times the number of home runs that he hits. And then, like I said, I was kind of hoping Arizona was in the bottom because I just forget that Colorado exists, but they're not. So your 6 teams are Boston Red Sox, Detroit Tigers, Oakland A's, Washington Nationals, the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the Colorado Rockies. And I believe the Nationals and somebody play each other. I think the Nationals and the A's are playing each other. So
that's
take your pick there. Yeah, very good. So anyway, that's your bonus last place teams.
I like it. And fun fact too, Andre Dawson has one of I'd probably put it in top 10 of best autographs in baseball of all time. It's a very clean, just very pretty autograph if you've ever seen it. Going over to the home run leaderboard. Oh yes, we got an update. There you go. D Blum is still in the lead. Did not get a call. Also had Shohei Ohtani with me. 49. No movement on the other top 3. High Cubby and Go Cards had Matt Olson and Ohtani for Go Cards. No homers. Cat Fox moved up 1 with a Salvi call. And we had a couple other movement on the judges. So we have got, it looks like 9 people in the 40 home run marker as this contest is getting very close and is going to be fun down to the wire. I'm excited to see how everyone's going to finish out. And
I'm not excited. I'm sorry. I'm not excited to see Joey P back on the board. So I think we should really get some things in gear here.
Oh my God. I didn't even notice that. You're right. He is back on the board. Yeah. Down there at 39 with those Aaron Judge calls. We need Aaron Judge to simmer it down.
Go back to his slump.
Yeah. I need to, I need to trick Joe. I should text him and be like, you want to take Judge off here for someone else and then just see if he's not paying attention. He'll be like, yeah. And I'll be like, gotcha. He's off. No more Judge for you because he will be back. I believe the last episode of the season. Let's not let it be a whole big thing. Let's not.
No.
If we're smart, we're going to not let it be a whole thing. We will let a whole thing be our friends over, yes, at BetMGM, where I wear the tiara of happiness. BetMGM, use the promo code leading off. You're going to get a $1,000 risk-free bet. When you do it, get on the app, get on the website, make some bets, whether it's props, football season is here, college football season is here, and you still got a whole month to bet baseball, even though it gets a little crazy sometimes. I hit both of my things last night, and I had a little 2-gamer on a parlay, and I actually did. I don't do this often. I played the no-run first inning on the Diamondbacks game and the Giants game. Really good pitchers. That paid off, and it was a nice little double up. So there you go. Right there, BetMGM game used tiara in action. This is the kind of like the topaz, or I don't know, something like that. It's not a very colorful crown, but it's the first crown tiara of all of them that we have. So, Kelly, I put together as usual. I did cheat a tiny bit. I actually didn't these two were neck and neck on top of the bettingpros.com. If you go to the MLB prop cheat sheet, there was number 1 and number 2, and they were about the same team. I decided not to pick the top guy because I like this other guy better. So I cheated a tiny bit. Top guy was Paul DeYoung. It had worse juice on it. So I took number 2 on their prop cheat sheet, and it was you need one total base from Lars Nootbaar. And Lars, the real deal. You need one total base, and it's minus 145. That's not the worst we've seen for a single hit. He's projected to on Fantasy Pros or Betting Pros, so I like that one. The plus money total base play, the number one plus money is Christian Walker, who Christian Walker had been pretty good against the Phillies over these last couple of days. It is 1.5. He's projected at almost 2.5, and you're getting plus 110 over at Sugar House if you want to do the plus total base play. Your 2 strikeout plays, number 1 on the algorithm, not bad. Tristan McKenzie, minus 115 for over 5.5. He's projected at 7 against Baltimore. I kind of dig that one, and McKenzie has really been a payoff. And the number 1 plus money play, Jacob deGrom against the Dodgers, under 8.5, and that pays plus 105. So Kelly, you got under 8.5 strikeouts on deGrom, 5.5 over on McKenzie, Walker total bases, and Lars Nootbaar essentially needs 1 hit. What do you like out of these?
Well, I love Tristan McKenzie, so I would do that one. I think he can get 6 strikeouts pretty easily. I love Nootbaar, but I don't know how he hits lefties. Because Minor, I think, is on the mound. So that one gives me a little bit of pause. I just can't, I wouldn't under Jacob deGrom. Like, I feel like that would be a personal affront to him, and he would just go strike out 12. So
like he would know that you personally bet under, and he would make it like a point to prove you wrong.
100% he would.
Yeah.
The other one that I like, speaking of lefties, I mean, Pujols is over 1.5 total bases. I think, what was that at? Plus 115 on DraftKings, and he's facing a lefty, and so I would take that one pretty easily. I think
I like that one. So you got a wonky play, and you got the top plays over at Betting Pros on the cheat sheet if you guys want to check it out. The top plays and the top money plays, you guys can dig around and make some of your own decisions on there. Over on the DFS side, some FanDuel prices. Christian Javier is 10-2. Tristan McKenzie is 10-3. Can never quit Jose Quintana. He's only 7-7. Drew Rasmussen and Trevor Rogers are going against each other. Yes, Trevor Rogers is back. He is 7-2 against Tampa. Drew Rasmussen is 9-8. Would you dare Trevor Rogers today? Would you dare? Would you dare?
Yeah, that's actually what I need for him. Yes, I still roster him. I think Dr. Glenn got rid of him a little while ago and begged me to do the same, and I kept him in one league. So yeah, I think I'm going to start him just because I want to believe so hard that I'm just going to make it happen. It'll be okay. It's not going to happen, by the way.
7-2, nice and cheap. Nice and cheap. Implied runs, Philly, Atlanta, Toronto. They think the Diamondbacks are going to get today. You got Tommy Henry on the mound. I don't know. We'll see. But Philly, Atlanta, Toronto, all projected over 5 earned runs if you want to find some stacks in there. I think you could always stack the Cardinals as well. You can put them in. And for the home run call, let's get to it. I actually was going to go with the big dog, but as soon as I saw the Andre Dawson wonky effect, I had to make my call. I will say I was going to go Goldschmidt, and I decided to go Brian Reynolds. I'm going to go with the Andre Dawson extra home run call. I'm going to go with Brian Reynolds as my home run. Yours is even better, Kelly.
Well, let me tell you, I decided what it was, and then I realized that Pujols was facing a lefty, and I'm like, but I'm going to go to our beloved Detroit Tigers, and I'm going to go with Eric Haas. Is it Haas or Haase?
I think it's Haas. Yeah, Eric Haas.
Yeah, he's facing Marco Gonzalez, and the wind is blowing out 12 miles an hour. So I'm going to, if he can just get a really nice pop-up, maybe it'll go.
Pretty good bet, and we'll see what you guys have to do, whether the guys at the top, this is the really interesting play, is what will the guys do at the top? Will they go and play, their normal guys to try to get the extra, or will they try to get the extra stuff into it? Go Kart said, Welsh, I was going Goldie and switching to Reynolds too. Yeah, so we were on the exact same mind. And there's the thing right there. Go Cards is going to go with the extra home run play, because let's just say if Go Cards were to hit it with Reynolds, he could be tied at the very top of the leaderboard, which would be good. Dr. Glenn gave me a stat line today. I went 7 shutout innings today, 6 strikeouts. I feel pretty good about today's, actually. There's a lot of Corbin Carroll. I saw a little bit of snark in the chat about me talking Corbin Carroll, but guess what? Top prospect doing the business. I'm going to do that. I'm going to kind of do that. And what else are we going to talk about right now? We're going to cry for 10 minutes about Shane McClanahan. Maybe. If you had Tommy John, I actually would have a session where I'd be like, all right, everybody, get your tissues out, and we would all just cry together like it was like a, a book club or something. We would just cry it out. That's okay. We can cry it out.
I want to do like a call-in. I've always thought about it'd be fun to do not a call-in, but like sort of on a podcast with like grief counseling. So like everyone just calls and talks about like the player that is making their fantasy teams the
Oh, I like
saddest.
that. Yeah, like baseball grief counseling. That would be a good
Like
show.
you get you get 1 minute, and I just want you just go ahead and absolutely vent your heart out. But
And we're just like, it's okay. It's not your
yes,
fault. It's their fault. It's okay. You'll be
exactly.
okay. You're good enough. You're smart enough. And gosh darn it, people like you. And we like you guys. We like the Peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I like Kelly, the Wonky Penguin on Twitter. Kelly, what's going on? What articles are ruminating out there?
Well, right now I'm kind of back. I'm drafting like a football team every day. And I'm actually working on setting up the touchdown call competition that we found out is going to have a really cool prize at the end of it. So the thing that I wanted to promote to everyone is I know you don't have to like football. You don't even have to watch football. That's perfectly fine. But we are the seasoned callers. So, I mean, you can jump in there. It's free. Just pick some people. So yeah,
That's
that should
fun.
be starting up next week. So
That'll be a really fun one. Now, how do you differentiate quarterbacks? Do they get, because it's
Nope.
going to be no quarterbacks, just position players?
It's just position. Yep. So it's running backs, wide receivers, and tight end. But there's also going to be a flex bonus. So
that'll be fun. Always doing the fun stuff over here at Fantasy Pro. So go and check that out. You can find me on Twitter at IsItTheWelsh. I've got some gambling stuff on Twitch going tomorrow, our little Degenathon, and our crazy wheel show we're doing today, twitch.tv/InThisLeague. And of course, the baseball stuff is always going on. I'm actually going to be doing a preview show on Prospect One, the Arizona Fall League. I'm going to do my predictions on what players are going to get the call for what teams and what the structure of the teams will look like. Dynasty people might feel that important because if your players do make the AFL, there's an opportunity for them to rise and fall in fantasy value. So I will be doing that on Prospect One. You guys can check out the podcast, but don't go anywhere. Make sure you can go somewhere now because we're done, but make sure you stick here. You're subscribed and you get all the notifications. For Kelly, I'm Welsh. We'll see you guys tomorrow right here on Leading Off. It's Fantasy Pros. We're out of here. Bye-bye.